Mao Zedong. The name alone evokes a torrent of emotions and images. He remains one of the 20th century's most influential and controversial figures. Born into a humble peasant family, Mao would rise to become the founding father of the People's Republic of China. His leadership spanned decades, leaving an indelible mark on China's landscape. Mao's journey from rural obscurity to power is a captivating tale. It is a story of revolution, ideology, and power. This essay delves into the life and legacy of Mao Zedong. We will explore his formative years and key events that shaped his path. Finally, we will examine the enduring impact of his rule on China and the world. Mao Zedong was born in 1893 in Shaoshan, a village nestled in the Hunan province of China. His upbringing in rural China profoundly influenced his worldview. He witnessed firsthand the poverty, inequality, and exploitation that plagued the peasantry. These experiences instilled in him a deep empathy for the struggles of the common people. They also fueled his burgeoning discontent with the existing social order. Mao's father, a strict disciplinarian and landowner, sought to mold his son in his own image. He envisioned a future where Mao would manage the family's landholdings. However, young Mao harbored different aspirations. He displayed an early thirst for knowledge and a rebellious streak that chafed against his father's authority. This tension between his father's pragmatic aspirations and Mao's own intellectual curiosity laid the groundwork for his future defiance of traditional structures. The seeds of revolution were sown early in the fertile ground of Mao's youthful experiences. Mao's formal education began in a local school where he excelled in his studies. He devoured books and displayed a keen interest in history and philosophy. This intellectual hunger led him to pursue further education, first in Changsha and later at Peking University. At these institutions, he encountered new ideas that would profoundly shape his thinking. It was during this period of upheaval that Mao first encountered Marxist ideology. Mao's involvement in student activism grew during his time in Peking. His experiences in these movements honed his leadership skills and solidified his commitment to revolution. While Mao's political life was marked by upheaval and transformation, his personal life was equally complex. He experienced both love and loss, his relationships often intertwined with the tumultuous political landscape of the time. His first marriage, arranged by his family, ended in separation. He later formed a deep connection with Yang Kaihui, a fellow activist who shared his revolutionary fervor. Yang became a source of intellectual companionship and emotional support for Mao. They worked side by side in the burgeoning communist movement. Tragically, their relationship was cut short when Yang was captured and executed by nationalist forces. Her death deeply affected Mao, and he would later immortalize her in his poetry. Mao's later marriages to He Zizhen and Jiang Qing also reflected the intersection of personal life and political expediency. These relationships were not without their own complexities and controversies, offering a glimpse into the personal sacrifices and compromises often demanded by revolutionary life. The 1930s marked a turning point in Mao's life and in the fortunes of the Chinese Communist Party. Facing relentless attacks from Chiang Kai-shek's nationalist forces, the communists were forced to undertake a perilous retreat. This arduous journey, known as the Long March, would become a defining moment in Chinese communist history. The Long March was a grueling test of endurance and resilience. Over 80,000 Red Army soldiers, along with party leaders and civilians, embarked on a treacherous trek across some of China's most unforgiving terrain. They faced hunger, disease, and constant attacks from enemy forces. Yet through it all, Mao's leadership shone through. The Long March solidified Mao's position as the paramount leader of the Chinese Communist Party. It was during this arduous journey that he honed his military strategies and consolidated his political power. The shared hardship and sacrifice forged an unbreakable bond between Mao and his followers, laying the foundation for his future triumphs. The aftermath of World War II saw China embroiled in a renewed civil war. The communists, led by Mao, emerged victorious, defeating the nationalists and establishing the People's Republic of China in 1949. This momentous event marked the beginning of a new era for China. On October 1, 1949, standing before a jubilant crowd in Tiananmen Square, Mao Zedong declared the founding of the People's Republic. This proclamation sent shockwaves across the globe. A new socialist state, led by a communist party, had taken its place on the world stage. Under Mao's leadership, China embarked on an ambitious program of social and economic transformation. Land reforms redistributed land from wealthy landowners to peasant farmers. The government nationalized industries and implemented a centrally planned economy. These policies aimed to modernize China, uplift the living standards of its people, and create a more egalitarian society. In 1958, driven by a desire to rapidly transform China into an industrial powerhouse, Mao launched the Great Leap Forward. This ambitious campaign sought to collectivize agriculture and accelerate industrial production. Mao believed that by mobilizing China's vast population, the country could achieve economic progress at an unprecedented pace. However, the Great Leap Forward proved to be a catastrophic miscalculation. The forced collectivization of agriculture disrupted traditional farming practices and led to widespread food shortages. Unrealistic production targets and the diversion of resources from agriculture to industry exacerbated the crisis. The Great Leap Forward resulted in one of the deadliest famines in human history. Millions of people perished from starvation and related diseases. The economic and social upheaval caused by this failed campaign cast a long shadow over China and forced a re-evaluation of Mao's leadership. The Cultural Revolution, a decade of upheaval. The Cultural Revolution, launched by Mao in 1966, was a period of intense social and political upheaval that plunged China into chaos. Mao, believing that capitalist and traditional elements within Chinese society were hindering the country's progress towards true communism, sought to purge these perceived threats. The Cultural Revolution unleashed a wave of violence and persecution. Young people, mobilized as Red Guards, targeted intellectuals, artists, and anyone deemed a counter-revolutionary. Schools and universities were shut down, ancient artifacts and cultural sites were destroyed. The country descended into a maelstrom of ideological extremism and political purges. The Cultural Revolution had a devastating impact on China's social fabric and intellectual life. It created deep divisions within society, disrupted education and economic development, and resulted in widespread human suffering. While Mao eventually acknowledged the excesses of the Cultural Revolution, its scars continue to linger in China's collective memory. The Twilight Years, Legacy and Succession. As the Cultural Revolution raged on, Mao's health began to deteriorate. By the early 1970s, he was a shadow of his former self, his grip on power weakening. Within the Communist Party, a power struggle emerged as different factions vied for influence in the post-Mao era. Mao Zedong died on September 9, 1976, at the age of 82. His death marked the end of an era for China. Millions mourned the passing of the leader who had guided the country through revolution, war, and tumultuous social change. Following Mao's death, Deng Xiaoping emerged as China's paramount leader. Deng, who had been purged during the Cultural Revolution, initiated a series of economic reforms that would transform China into a global economic powerhouse. The weight of a legacy reflections on Mao's impact. Mao Zedong's legacy remains a complex and contested one. He is revered by many in China as the founding father of the People's Republic, the leader who united the country and restored its national pride. His image adorns Tiananmen Gate, a constant reminder of his enduring presence in the nation's psyche. However, Mao's rule was also marked by authoritarianism, human rights abuses, and economic disasters. The Great Leap Forward and the Cultural Revolution stand as stark reminders of the human cost of his policies. Assessing Mao's legacy requires acknowledging both the positive and negative aspects of his rule. He was a transformative figure who played a pivotal role in shaping modern China. Yet his legacy is also intertwined with periods of immense suffering and repression. His story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of balancing revolutionary zeal with pragmatism and respect for human rights. Mao's maxim, a lifelong pursuit of progress. Throughout his life, Mao Zedong was driven by a relentless pursuit of progress. He believed in the power of human agency to shape history. His speeches called for continuous revolution and overcoming obstacles. "Dare to struggle, dare to win," Mao famously proclaimed. This mantra encapsulated his belief in the potential of the Chinese people. He envisioned a modern and prosperous China on the world stage. While his methods were flawed, his belief in human endeavor to shape the future resonates. His story reminds us that the pursuit of progress remains a worthy endeavor.